we meet again. Continuing with that inner push for transformation, I guess, hey? Me too. Okay, chapter 43. The countdown begins. Now, with my friend safe and sound once again, and my support systems firmly in place, slowly but surely, I began to get my life back in order. I organized time from work and rearranged my schedule so I could write and contemplate the depths of the lessons learned. Only a few weeks earlier, I had told my guides a whole lot would have to change in my world before I ever considered passing on my teachings or outing myself on a global scale. Definitely. Yet here I was, facing one of the saddest, most profound moments of my life, and seriously considering it was definitely time to start sharing what I had experienced and learned. Now, before diving in and fully committing to my soulful journey to written form, I once again asked my guides for advice. Will it be worth it? Will exposing myself and experiences to the masses be worth the heartache that comes with this degree of transparency? I was very aware that not everyone would embrace my accounts with open arms. I was also painfully aware that putting my reputation on the line to express my teachings would require a whole lot of faith on my part. I knew that. Would society finally hear and implement the messages I had to share? Did I have the strength to endure the potential criticisms from my connections to prophecy? Still wonder that. Now, at the time, I contemplated the option of focusing solely on the teachings while skipping my personal accounts to biblical stories. This option was very appealing when considering the consequences that my family might endure. Of course it was more appealing. I'd already put them through enough turmoil and significant life changes. As supportive as my family may have been up until that point, expecting them to embrace my connections to the prophecies was certainly a different caliber of support altogether. I'd never actually even spoken to them about any of these events up until now. Isn't that crazy? I hadn't even spoken about it. How could I possibly write about it when those closest to me had no idea it was happening? And then, further, expect them to endure the backlash from going public. It's a lot to ask, isn't it? Show me a sign. Show me a sign, I pleaded to my angels that day. And Am I to stay true to my biblical story, or veer to the side with only the teachings? Should I talk to my family about what was taking place, or continue to endure the journey alone? It was at that point I received an email from my son. He had photographed a picture that day and thought I should use it for my work. Now, to understand the magnitude of this exchange, you must first understand there were only 2 other instances in my entire life so far where my teenage son provided me with a raw filmed, professional grade image to utilize for my business. In all 3 instances, the file was completed and forwarded without him consciously knowing I needed an image, and without my asking or implying I needed one. Now, the first photograph arrived when I was looking for the cover of my first book. Here it is. Activating Your Soul Works. It's 7 chakra candles. Photoed in our living room. The second image showed up when I was ready to create some marketing material. Okay, I'm going to show you this one too, because I did use it for marketing material. I used it for some like social media banners and business cards over the years, but I actually ended up using it as my 3rd book image, Mastering Your Soul Works, photographed in my kitchen. Yep. The third image sat waiting in my inbox, right on cue, after my plea to the heavens to show me a sign. So with no prompting, previous knowledge, or prior understanding of my connections to biblical accounts, and in fact being very aware and raised under the understanding of my frustrations towards religions in general, my son photographed the image that was eventually used for the cover, I say, of this book, but that was my 2nd book, Evolving Your Soul Works. And as I opened the file that day, I gasped for breath at the sight of a wooden cross standing in the South Saskatchewan River as turbulent waters rushed by. While staring at this amazing photo, my guides echoed the words from Revelation 22, verse 1 and 2. Then the angel showed me the river of water of life, bright as crystal, flowing down the middle of the great street of the city. Evolving Your Soul Works. It's actually quite profound to think that in downtown Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, that cross was in the river. My son photographed it. On the exact day, I asked for a sign that I am to write about my biblical connections to prophecy. I went a few days later to try to find that. It was already gone downstream. Probably literally the base of a sign. But definitely a sign for me that day. For damn sure. Message received. Message received. I would open my heart and share my experiences with the world. I would. Not for notoriety, as some have suggested. Not for recognition, as many may expect, but for the peace of mind that comes with speaking my truth, clearing the air, and completing a personal responsibility somehow bestowed upon my soul. Truth. Okay? So I took up residence in my attic that day as my temporary new office and spent days journaling and connecting to my guides. I also brought home a few things, including a chair I had been given for a while. Sorry, I read that wrong. Interesting. I also brought home a few things, including a chair I had given away for a while. My guides reminded me as I sat there in my chair that not only had I given my seat away, but I had given my power and confidence away as well. I was shocked, actually, to realize that despite my biblical accounts in action, I had become even less and less sure of my connection, despite many, many years of clearly understanding my soulful past. Pondering this reality, I could see where it all began to go sideways. I had documented the day in my calendar years back. It was on November 21st, 2012, when an acquaintance came by my house to visit for the first time. And before that point, journal entries, I had been clear, Before that point, I had been clear on my mission and scope of my life's role. But after that point, journal entries changed quite drastically, actually, as I began to give not only my chair and confidence away, but a part of my role as well. I even remember knowing it was wrong, but handed it over like it was some library book to haphazardly lend out. I simply found it too much to bear, I believe, at the time, and so literally handed a portion of my soul away. Now, it was not the first time I had tried to give that role and responsibility away either, but I did vow it would certainly be the last. I did, with more evidence than I knew what to do with. I had finally accepted the entirety of my SOULworks back into the fold and vowed to never, ever let doubt sidetrack me again. I was officially back. Now I sat there in my attic, thankful to have the full awareness and my chair back. My guides asked me to count how many days had passed since I had given it away. Strange request, for darn sure, but okay. So with the current date of May 3rd, 2016, and a very handy online app. It only took a few seconds before my calculations loomed in front of me. It had been precisely 3 years, 5 months, and 13 days. More specifically, for a grand total of 1,260 days, I had given a part of who I was away. Truth. Now, my heart pounded as I contemplated the odds of that happening. It was a biblical reference, that I knew for sure. The question grinding into my brain at the time was, what the hell does it all mean? What does it mean? Now, it only took a few online searches to find 7 biblical references to this exact number. Among interpretations of the 1260 date depicted as time, times, and a half time was that a full 1260 days would pass until the Christ energy takes his power and chair back. It also said that he had clearly and knowingly given them both away for a time. This startled me in many ways. First off, even though I'd been living out biblical accounts, nothing was as validating as pointing out dates and times showing that I was exactly who I thought I was at the exact moment in time my guides had depicted. Secondly, I was incredibly upset, to find out the first 1260 days only marked the midpoint of the tribulation, which meant I could still have another 3.5 years or more of this emotional roller coaster. Both aspects, very hard to take. I prayed. I did. I prayed to my guides that day and asked for mercy. Really, truly, I needed mercy. I asked for the remaining days to be shorter than the additional 1260 that was apparently yet to come, for the sake of both my family and myself. I cried at the realization that it was the last part of these prophesied tribulations that was expected to be the worst. I asked for help and compassion for all involved, everyone involved. I seriously didn't think I had the strength to keep watching this drama unfold at its current pace and magnitude. Now, shortly after my pleas for the heavens, I received a text from a friend who said she had a message to pass on from my guides. She indicated with full confidence that whatever I was dealing with would be over sooner than I thought, because I asked for it to be so. At that point, my guides cited scripture again. It was in the book of Matthew where Yeshua tells his disciples they will know he is officially back during the time of the Great Tribulation, named for the period beginning at the onset of the final 3.5 years of the 7-year period of Revelation. The Bible then goes on to say that the final 3.5-year period will eventually be cut short upon Yeshua's request for the sake of the elect, Thanks be to God. Was all I could say. Evolving your soul works. Let's return to the basics for a minute. Even though the actual soul energies and life stories of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua existed within the past, just as my personal experiences exist in the present, overall, the Christ and Antichrist story is symbolic of the roles we play on a day-to-day basis. Furthermore, the Yeshua story is felt among the masses because it is symbolic of the divine masculine energy that resides within all of us. The Mary Magdalene story is symbolic of the suppressed feminine energy that resides in all of us. We each have our own unique soul experiences and story to tell. No one can take any of those elements away. No one can fulfill a portion of that equation for us. Nor can we let anyone take responsibility for the other half to our whole. Can't be done. No one can take our seat or voice away. Yet sometimes they do, either by force or by our submission. Truth be told, we each have people in our lives that we allow to speak for us, and we each have people in our lives we adamantly try to speak for. That's true. Believing that one soul is more important in this world is barbaric. Allowing someone to make you feel unworthy is also a reflection of your own feelings of worthiness. Allowing yourself to take away from another's experience of connecting back to the divine is equally irrational. There must be a balance. When we take back the authentic power of your own soul without trying to minimize someone else's. If I'm living out these prophecies and still understand I'm no more important or worthy of this reality or title than anyone else, then surely the rest of the world can begin to see and feel that truth also. As I have watched my life play in eerie detail, reflecting the prophecies of the Bible with dates unfolding right before my eyes, I cannot help but be in awe of the elders from the past who knew and understood these times to come. I know some of the accounts in our lives have been written in the stars, for sure, while other activities and events are left up to free will. Thank God. I know that I myself can foresee the future, but so far only 5 to 7 years in advance of events yet to come. That is a far cry from the ancient civilizations that mastered the art of foreseeing the sands of time and documenting what was yet to come. Some days I even wonder if I have any control over any of this, or if I am just a pawn in a game already planned and written. I'm always amazed at how the cryptic symbology of Revelation, Isaiah, and now the book of Daniel, apparently, that has eluded people for so long, could just come together and make complete sense in my crazy world. Of interest to me is the significance of the additional 30-day period as depicted in the book of Daniel, and yet eluding most scholars as to its meaning. When I added 30 days to my original 1260, it took me to June 3rd, 2016. And that's kind of interesting, Astrologists and historians have remarkably linked this day to be the midpoint of the tribulation if you utilize the end of the Mayan calendar as the starting point. And the Mayan calendar ended on December 21st, 2012, which was yet again exactly 30 days from my starting point, when I temporarily gave my chair and roll away. You simply can't synchronize those profound accounts on your own, or even try to enact these mystical moments without the divine involved. You can't. It's divine intervention. In fact, the mathematical odds of my having lived out all these prophecy moments to such accurate detail, without any past knowledge of its existence or its implications, are actually astronomically breathtaking. They are. To this day, I'm still in awe. Also of interest to me is, as I've watched this play out, is the link between the astrological ages of time. Each age takes approximately 2,160 years to complete, with 12 distinct cycles, covering a span of 25,920 years. The beginning of a new era can't be marked by a year or even a decade, but instead blends between the periods of time until it can be vibrationally stood in on its own. So in many respects, the astrological ages also follow the same concept as the chakra octaves of development. Interesting. As we enter a new age or stage of growth, we are both consciously and naturally evolving, bouncing in and out of the vibration until we fully expand into that level of understanding and frequency. It is a cycle of constant evolution. And we are at a window of opportunity to change not only individually, but also collectively into a higher vibration of enlightenment. Interesting enough, the age of Pisces is considered the time from Yeshua's birth until the second coming, that is linked to the age of Aquarius. Moving into a new age is the start of the new world that has been prophesied about, which in essence is a heart-centered vibrational state of being. Everyone can achieve a higher frequency individually when we work at it, but what we are looking to do is reach the tipping point where critical mass is reached and global shifts occur. And in my opinion, we are at the cusp of being able to maintain my book just about tipped over there. Good sign, I'd say. We are just at the cusp of being able to maintain the vibrational frequencies of the age of Aquarius, with some exciting and radical changes ahead of us. Your move. Be calm and continue on. We are going through these changes naturally, actually, regardless of where we are in our own individual lives. So, in some respects, it is very liberating to know we can just follow our intuition and go with the flow. Move out of the place of fear and enjoy the ride for what it is. A change in evolution and the birth of a new era of time. Secondly, knowledge is power. What do you want to do with this knowledge? We are entering a new age that has already been depicted as oozing with abundance, freedom, idealism, humanitarianism, paradigm shifts, as well as expanded awareness and spiritual growth. Collectively, we are already moving in this direction. Individually, however, what do you want to do? And what do you want your own reality to look like? Start to visualize and plan your own concepts of a better world and lifestyle. Start. Next, dream bigger. With the profound knowledge and opportunities that comes from entering a new era of time, what changes will you strive to make in your own life experiences? Take another look at your current dreams and ambitions. Dare to dream a whole lot bigger. Because we are moving into an era of conscious co-creation on a level that has not been experienced on Earth for many, many cycles of time. Look at any of your limiting beliefs and outdated ways of living. Really start to consider how you truly want this new world and era to be. Take one step at a time. To move forward into alignment, we must be aware of the decisions we make to support the greater good. Sometimes this can seem overwhelming. It can. But in reality, every time we shift something on a personal level, no matter how small or insignificant it seems, it is helping to create changes on a global level too. Stay centered and just take it one day at a time. Clean out your closets. Do it. This is a great way to remove some of the old, outdated energy. Plant a tree. This is a great way to signify new growth and potential in your life. Consider every step you take symbolically linked to the greater good. And you will start to see evidence of just how much impact you actually have in this world. Take your chair back. Last one of this chapter. Take your chair back. Who have you given your powers to? Who have you allowed to speak for you? Plan your future, influence your thoughts, or represent your story. Take your chair back, and with it, your worthiness to stand in your own role. Hold the intention to call back fragments of your own soul, energy that you have given out or allowed others to take away. Then, take the time to send back the soul energy you have also pulled from others in the past. Reflect on instances when you have taken too many liberties in someone's life, directed their dreams, or manipulated their path. I know it sounds harsh, but I do believe we do this unconsciously all the time. Think back to even your youthful dreams or the dreams of your own children. Are you standing in the way of someone living out their dreams? Are you trying to be the other half to someone else's whole? Are you relying on someone else to give you strength? Are you giving your strength away? Take it back. Take it back. And take responsibility for your own energetic footprint. We can do this. I know we can.